I'm gonna have to pass on the party. Ba-bum, like what's the sound? The Law and Order sound. We're getting into the society of it all. We can't do that today. Finn would love Tumblr. Head bets. Head bets, Virgin. I'm here to listen to your problems without a medical degree. Hello, friends and gamers. So I turned the lights off. It's funny because I'm recording this at noon, but for you guys, breaking your immersion, I turned the lights off because today we are going to play our first hour in Coffee Talk Tokyo. Now, this is actually also the first time this game has hit the channel, like for real, because literally a whole year ago, during last year's Summer Game Fest, I was able to demo this game thanks to Chorus. And it ended up being one of the games I demoed off camera because I lost my voice halfway through Summer Game Fest and ended up doing half of my list of demos on camera, half of it off. This was one of the ones that ended up being off camera, but those ones that I did off camera, I did a like 5-star rating out of 5 stars situation. And then came back and was like, here's what I thought of all these games. Here's what I rated them. Coffee Talk Tokyo is actually one of my 5-star games. So it already got a play. Like, it's in terms of it getting a play or an A if you're new here, a play means it goes on the schedule. I have a year to finish it. And if I don't, there are consequences. And nay means it's going to rot my Steam library. This got a play like right off the bat. Like, it's already on my schedule to finish in like a year from the day it released, which was recently, because they did have to end up pushing the release date back, but we're here. We're gonna play Coffee Talk Tokyo. However, today it is not Chorus that provided me with my copy of the game. We have to thank Toge Productions and Keybeller for providing me with my copy of the game. So we're gonna play. Last time when I did the demo version, I did skip most of the story because I didn't want to spoil anything. So we're here. We're gonna do our first hour, but it's also like it's the first video of the video series, because I've already decided to play it, and we're cozy. Will this go in the cozy corner? Let's find out. The cozy corner is also a series on the channel, which this could very well go into, because the cozy corner also has some chaos. So this could end up in there. I'm very tired and sleepy though, so let's get started. Play game. I'm starting the game at like 2-minute mark, so an hour and 2 minutes we'll go to. We are in Tokyo in 2026, so it is like current day, but it is one of my favorite genre situations. A little thing called urban fantasy. The name is a little bit outdated, but TLDR, it's magic in a modern setting. That's all you need to know. But this is a city of paper and steel as large as a country. In the busy shadows of tall buildings, through quiet back streets and moss-covered temples. This is also beautiful pixel art, by the way. Humans and yokai, spirits and kami flit from homes to jobs to parties. I got the home and the job, but the party, I'm gonna have to pass on the party, quite frankly. Looking for new kinship as old bonds start to fade. We've talked about, though, how personally, if like the concept of immortality, I think is more of a curse than a blessing. We've talked about that a lot recently. And like some of these creatures like yokai are generally immortal, I think, in most mythologies. So like, yeah, you would need to make new friends. But in these changing times, established structures still find ways to cling to power. Ain't that the truth? Also, there's a puppy. My puppy is not in his bed. He's laying next to his bed, curled up between his bed and the window. It's one of his other favorite spots to go, but puppy is present today. But while they try to preserve the illusion of past grandeur, no matter the cost, many, stifled by the net of tradition, look for another way forward. Their dreams of a safe future carried away by 100 rivers. Ain't that the truth? The credits during the beginning portion are fun. International Science for the Future Institute. Okay. Time only flows forward and past mistakes can't be undone. I'm also realizing, oh no, you can see the words on the poster. My box is covering most of them, but you can see enough of it. But mistakes open up unexpected paths in science, in creation, and in life. Those brave enough to follow their twists and turns may well find a way to a new dawn. And then we have more credits. Ooh, the lights are so nice. Like the neon lights in the buildings, that's done really well. In the city night, the seekers, the wanderers, the outcasts carry hope for tomorrow. And when their burden grows heavy, a small cafe at the back of a skyscraper gives them a place to cool their heads and warm up their hearts. That's our cafe, hi! These are their stories. What's the, ba-bum, like what's the sound? This is where it starts to get chaotic. What's the Law and Order sound? These are their stories. But we are flash forwarding in time a little bit, and our first day in Coffee Talk Tokyo takes place on July 30th, 2026. So we're going a little bit forward, basically like little under 2 months forward, which this came out at the very end of May, I think. So, but the online newspaper, I think, I don't know. I know Chinese. So hypothetically, I could look at these characters and be like, yeah, I should be able to read that. But it's traditional Chinese. And also it's not Chinese, it's Japanese. They just share one letter system. So I think it says newspaper, something along the lines of newspaper. So we're just gonna rock with that. But the title here quotes, "Children are our future. Seattle Climate Conference opens International Youth Program." And then something about social experiments skirting something down here. But let's start the day. I wonder if we could have read that paper. I didn't check that. Okay, green text says, "Hello." Who's green text? "Sorry to disturb you. It says in your sign that you're open. Anybody in?" Yes. I guess not. "We're coming. Hi." We say, "Coming. Please just give us a minute." Green text says, and I'm just gonna call them by the color text they have until we get like a name or something, or like even a creature form. But green text says, "No problem." We say, "Counters clean. Check. Chairs all in place. Cups ready." Also, this is so cool because it's underground a little bit because you can, through the windows, see people walking on the street. I think that vibe is so cool. But chairs all in place. Cups ready. The microwave is making noises. Oh, it's not a microwave, it's a coffee machine, my bad. Coffee machine works. The coffee beans should be here any minute now. From Vin. There's Vin. Does Vin work here? Or is Vin, I can't tell, but Vin's fine. Vin is here. They say, "Was this everything you needed?" Okay, Vin must be our delivery person. We say, "Yes, all good. I think we're ready to go. Could you unlock the front door, please?" Oh no, Vin works here. Okay. Vin says, "Right away." I'll try to do voices, but I don't got that many voices in me today. I'm sleepy. I said it's been exactly a year since we played the demo for Coffee Talk Tokyo, and it has been like a year. Like, we're in Summer Game Fest times again, and I'm sleepy. But it is kind of fitting that we would play the first hour of Coffee Talk Tokyo, one of my top demos from last year, during this year. So here's green text. This is actually the same character you meet in the demo, which the demo is available at the time of recording this, and this video is going up very shortly after recording it. So the demo is available right now if you do want to demo Coffee Talk Tokyo before purchasing it. It's available. I don't know if it's a permanent demo or it's available just during Steam Next Fest again this year, but yeah, this is the character you meet in the demo, or at least the version of the demo that I played. But it is the evening, so he says evening. We say good evening and welcome. And green text, whose name I still don't have, says, "Sorry, I hope you didn't open just for me." We say, "Not at all. Please accept our apologies for the delay. Let me just put a record on." Or you can pick one at your convenience. There wasn't any settings for streamer mode, so I think we should be okay. But green text says, "Sweets." And now we have music. We say, "Okay, all set, and sorry again." With this heat, we're getting coffee beans delivered at random times. Ain't that the truth? I mean, do I know about the coffee beans being delivered at random times? No, but it do be hot. It's really hot out. But our customer laughs and says, "The summer's pretty stuffy in Tokyo." We say it can be indeed. "I take it you're not from around here." He says, "Nope, visiting from Seattle," which is why the newspaper was talking about Seattle. Vin's face. They say, "Wow, Seattle? That's a long journey. You flew over to see the sights?" Or was it about that conference? Or because the conference was in Seattle though, yeah? Our customer says that for sure. "And I've also got some work to do." Actually, about that, there wasn't a blue-haired guy here earlier, was there? Although I guess you only just opened. I know the blue-haired guy, in quotes, is another character we'll meet later on. Possibly today, unsure though. But we say indeed, and I don't think I saw any patron walk by. Vin says, "Did you say a blue-haired guy?" Our customer says, "Yup." And Vin says, "Is his name June by any chance?" I knew it. I thought that was his name because I really like our blue-haired guy. The customer says, "That's right. Do you know him?" We say he's a regular here. He comes by often. And Vin says he definitely hasn't been around tonight though. The customer says, well, I guess he's just a little late." We ask, "May I serve you a drink while you wait?" And the customer says, "That'd be great. It rhymes. Anything you'd recommend to a tourist like me?" We say, "Let me see. Where did this hojicha go? I swear I had it right here." Vin says it's on the counter over there, and we say, I'm glad one of us knows where things are. In this heat, I'd have recommended an iced hojicha, but our new fridge hasn't been delivered yet. We don't have I think, is not having a fridge, I feel like that's like a health code violation. But hey, we're in Japan. Maybe it's not in Japan. So we say, "How about some warm hojicha? It can be surprisingly refreshing." And the customer agrees, so now we have to make it. This is where I didn't really know where to put the box, because I don't want to cover their text over here. Hold on, let me see if it looks better over there. Is it better over here? I think it might have to be, because I don't want to cover the section where we make the drinks. So I think we might just have to cover this section over here. A little bit of text is going to be covered in this case scenario, but it's fine. So we turn on the warm button and our base, I'm not sure which one is which, but I think, okay, we have green tea, we have tea, hojicha. Okay, it's a separate one because I was like, I know that's a tea, but is it like, it's not as common in the States. I'm a big tea drinker, but I'm weird about my tea and the fact that I like iced tea. Like I like iced drinks more than warm drinks. I used to be the type of person who could only do hot coffee and cold tea, but now I just like cold every drink all the above. So we have the hojicha base. I don't think we need any extra things. Our options are mint, honey, ginger, and yuzu. I think it's just a warm hojicha. I guess that would be a brew. Yeah, brew. It's warm hojicha. Guess I have to add. Oh, you can just do 3 all the same. So it's a warm hojicha brew. Okay, we'll just do that. The sound effects are always so nice. Just straight up hojicha. Serve it. I hope I did it right. We say, here you go, a hojicha for you. He says, ooh, that is nice. This nutty flavor is pretty unique. We laugh and say, I'm glad you like this. Thank God, because I was a little bit confused. The customer says, thanks for the rec. Can I ask your name? So we introduce ourselves, and Hendry, that's his name, says, nice to meet you, I'm Hendry. Vin also introduces themselves. Hendry says, great to meet you. So tell me, he says, what are some nice places to see around here? We say, well, if you're meeting Jun for work, I will guess you have ties to the music industry. Hendry says, yep, you could say that. Do we want to put money on VTuber producer? Because I feel like that would be fun. Because it's something like music related, but also not. We ask, do you happen to like vinyls? There are some very good vinyl stores just down the road. I know Japan has a lot of like vintage stores, but like for media related things, like there's a lot of like stores that do like vintage anime merch and like a lot of really cool thrift stores that we don't have in the US just because people would rather resell it on like, what's the one that's like Vinted? Is that the new one? Vintage one. Depop is the other big one. Like people would rather sell it for exuberant prices on reselling apps rather than just bringing it to a little thrift, you know? And that's why prices for thrifting have gotten so bad here in the States. Yay. Anyways, Hendry says, do I like vinyls? I love vinyls. My wife and I used to own a vinyl store in Seattle. Oh, now we're gonna get the, yeah, we had to close it down because the prices got insane. God. This is supposed to be a cozy corner video, and we're getting into the society of it all. We can't do that today. But Vin says, oh, wow, really? That sounds amazing. We say, as you can see, this place here is as close to a vinyl store as it could be. Without actually being one. Do we sell vinyls? Because that would be cutie. I've been to coffee shops that sell like random other things. I love a coffee shop, okay? That's like one of my favorite. I love a coffee shop. I love thrifting. Like I thrift as a hobby. But again, Hendry laughs and says, that must be why I love the vibe. That, and it reminds me of my haunt in Seattle. It is funny he's talking about Seattle. If this man says Starbucks, I swear to God, I'm closing the game. We ask, another coffee shop? Okay. Hendry says, another late night coffee shop. Yep. Listen, as somebody who, in university, the coffee shop on my campus was a Starbucks, and I think it stayed open till 11 because we got kicked out once. But like most only stay open till like 9 or 10 because I've also gotten kicked out of a normal Starbucks at that time. But I wouldn't consider that late night. So it's not, thank God it's not Starbucks. Hendry says, say what you want. Places like this make it easy to feel home wherever you go. That's true. That's also why I like coffee shops a lot. We say, I'm very glad you think so. Vince says, I wish I could visit Seattle, just completely changing the subject. And Hendry says, you should. It's a great town. With these plane ticket prices, no thank you. I live in the States and I wouldn't even visit Seattle right now. That's expensive. Vin says, maybe I should start saving up for a plane ticket. And we don't say anything. Good choice. Vin notices we're trying to stay silent though, but they say, I know they're a worrywart. They'd get so anxious if I went on a flight across the ocean, which is true. I would. Hendry says, I'm familiar. My daughter's like that. If I listened to her, I'd never take a step outside without supervision. But these old bones still have some life left in them. Even if my hip's been killing me all week. Oh gosh. Vin says, I get that. My left arm's giving me hell today. I love that we're just complaining about what bones hurt, because that's so true. So true, bestie. And Vin says, my back was hurting all of last week. I could barely bend down. I would say, girl, me too, but actually, my back's been feeling a lot better since I have had to take my dog for walks, which is awesome. So sometimes you just gotta touch grass, but also as somebody who has worked food service, there is that type of like I moved too many boxes type of pain, because I've done food service, I've done retail. There's no amount of little walks outside is gonna save you on that one, bestie. You just got that. It's just gonna suck. No amount of little walks are gonna help you there. But we say, oh no, Vin, if I had known, I'd have given you time off. Vin says it wasn't bad enough to keep me from doing work. And we say, you're always going the extra mile. Vin says, well, I don't want to just sit around. I want to help. I'll let you just sit around and talk to customers and I'll pay you for it, Vin. We say you're already, which is really hard to say, helping a lot though. Some days you work more than I do. And Vin says, that's the least I can do. Since you took me in, they say very quietly, Vin. So is Vin like our honorary kid? Is that who Vin is? We say, I didn't take you in to make you work full time. Should we? I'm sorry, Hendry's just kind of like side-eyeing, like, should I be a part of this conversation? We say I had an empty room, you needed a place to stay. I welcome the company, which is more than me. I can't live with other people, I've learned. I need my space. It's me and my dog and that's it. It's nice though, because, well, my dog really likes to cuddle. He also will just like sit on the opposite side of the room from me and take a nap. And we need our space too. It's okay. Anyways, Vin says, I know. That's why I have to help out even more. No, Vin, bad Vin. We say, I feel like I can't win this one. Hendry laughs and says, now you're the one who's like my daughter, Vin. You look like you're about the same age as her. Must be rough to be in pain a lot when you're that young, ain't that the truth. Ain't that the truth. I had back pain starting at like 17. Vin says, I guess, but it's very sad about it. They say it's not every day though. I feel more in pain when I'm really tired. Yes, Vin gets it. Or when one of these things malfunctions. Okay, so this must be a little bit of our fantasy sci-fi elements. That's probably where the arm pain is coming from, actually. Hendry asks if they malfunction a lot, and I want to know more about the lore. Vin says sometimes. The company that used to make them went bust, so there's nothing anyone can do when they glitch. But mostly they do work. It's giving cyberpunk a little bit. I want to know more about that. Vin says, anyway, I should go check the inventory. We got that delivery earlier. We say you could do that. Or, for your information, there's a pop concert on TV tonight. We're trying to get Vin to go home early. In case that's of interest. Vin hesitates, then says, maybe I'll do the inventory later then, if that's okay. Vin, you go take your night off. Go have fun. Vin thanks us and says bye to Hendry. Hendry says bye to Vin, and now it's just us. Which I will say, as somebody who's worked both food service and retail, being alone with a customer that you don't know well sometimes can be terrifying. And I've been harassed many a time that way. So I trust Hendry though. I trust him. Hendry says they don't like talking about their health much, huh? Which I get. Sometimes it gets awkward if you're like talking about it with the wrong person. So it's like, okay, I'm just not going to bring this up to anyone, because some people are really weird when you talk about health stuff. If you're new here, hi, I'm chronically ill. So like I find it very like normal to talk about like what part of my body is in pain for the day. Like I find it very normal, but there's a lot of people out there who find it very taboo to talk about like health and pain and stuff like that. So you kind of learn to just like not bring it up unless somebody else does first, and then you can like commiserate together. Which I guess in this case scenario, Hendry did bring up the back pain or hip pain specifically. They brought it up first. So I do the same thing that Vin did, where if somebody else brings it up, I'm like, oh my God, girl, I know. I just dropped a figurine on the ground. Hold on, I need to make sure Toto doesn't eat that. Apologies, I was playing with a little Embor figure that I have, and it fell on the ground. It just fell out of my hands. I have a lot of knickknacks on my desk that I play with, and sometimes it becomes a problem. But yeah, we say not really in relation to Vin talking about their health. They don't like talking about it. We say their situation is a pretty recent development, which, yeah, I mean, when I first was like dealing with all my stuff, yeah, it is kind of awkward at first. Hendry says, I wouldn't have guessed they struggle at all, just looking at them. We say no, and that's part of what makes it harder for them. Yeah, I get that too. I'll always go in like any sort of like doctor's office I go into, whether it be like the dentist, the eye doctor. Even when I went in for surgery last year, they look at you and they look at your, like do like a double take a couple times. They look at you, they look at your chart, specifically like when you were born and stuff like that. And then their eyes go down to like the amount of medications you're taking. And they kind of have to do a couple of double takes and they're like, really? You look so young. You look so healthy. What? And it's like, haha, thanks. But they gotta do the double take a couple times. Hendry says, I see. Sounds like you two take good care of each other anyway. How long's Vin been helping out here? We say a few months. It has been great having them around. But to be honest, I don't think working at a cafe is their dream, which is, yes, is relatable. Hendry says, did they say what they'd like to do instead? And we say, not at the moment. But I hope they can find their way. They certainly deserve that. And they do. Vin does. I love Vin. That Vin is now an honorary child of the channel. I don't know how old Vin is, but they're an honorary child of the channel. That is our child now. Hendry says, to be young again. So many doubts, but so many possibilities. We laugh. I think we have to deal with our phone. What's up with our phone? Tomodachill. Shuffled instead of Spotify. All right, what's Tomodachill? Oh, this is all. That's so funny how June has 2 accounts. The official account, and then, oh, that's an unofficial fan. Vin, assistant barista by night, music appreciator 24/7. That, I love Vin. With the little Kamoji stuff is so cute. There's Hendry. And then we have another friend. Oh, cutie. So these are Vin's posts. Just got new beans at the cafe today. Can't wait to taste them in my fave coffee # recipes. Vin posts like they're on Tumblr. I recently, within the last like 6 months, got back on Tumblr just like for the vibes of it all. And it's been, honestly, it has been kind of nice for my mental health to just not be doom scrolling on Twitter 24/7 and instead just be like looking up pretty pictures on Tumblr. It's kind of nice. But if you've been on Tumblr at all, there's a lot of like #my recipes. Like Vin would love Tumblr. But this is also so cute. Vin's a K-pop fan. Watching the Aura Drop stream from Seoul tonight. The pop concert was K-pop. Vin, that is our child. That's our honorary child of the channel. Oh, I love Vin. I love Vin so much. Oh my god, I want to like, okay, we have to get off our phone and talk to Hendry. Hendry says, I wonder where June is. Is he the kind of guy who's usually late? We say, I'm not entirely sure, but I wouldn't say so. He's always quite serious and professional. Hendry says, yep, that's what I'm thinking too. All right, now we check our phone that Hendry's like stopped talking. He says hope nothing's happened to him, which we'll get to in a second. That was like a natural bit in the conversation. So let's deal with Tomodachill. So we have Jun, his fan page. Then we have the official page. Then we have Vin. Oh, we have an too. I promise they didn't pay me to write that. I love Vin. Vin's such a cutie. Then there's Hendry. Oh, is that his daughter? Oh, she's cute. Okay, then here's our stories. Let's just go down the list here. So we have Vin's post about the new beans, #my recipes. I'm going to like it. Then we have the Aura Drop post, which we'll also like. Ryuhei Okawa next is our dragon friend to sing a song that reaches no one. Yeah, sure, we'll like that. I'm just gonna like everyone's posts. Then we have the official June page. It says, thank you for attending June's Magical Forever tour in Yokohama. And an account called Live Forever says magic's kind of gone, if you ask me. Okay, so is June going through it? Is June like washed up pop star vibes? Okay, here's the fan page then. It says Yokohama looked amazing tonight. What did everyone think of the new set list? Who's excited for Tokyo in just 4 days? The comment with the photo credit is wild. Comments then. Halo Hikari says sound mix was kind of weird, but June's voice perfection. Citrus Waves says miss the Midnight River Lights song, so that must be like an older album. Which it's honestly, as like ex K-pop stan myself, you see that so often. Like I miss this era, and it's like, so go listen to it. I don't know what to tell you. Like if my favorite 17 album came out 5 years ago, I'll go listen to the album from 5 years ago. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, Night Call 22 says same, the new stuff doesn't hit like it used to. And then June says it wasn't great, TBH. Heard some boos here and there, and you know it's not nice, but I get it. Oof. You know, they really got down the essence of Stan Twitter. I just have to say that. They really got Stan Twitter down pat. Whoever is on your writing team, I see you. I know there's at least one of you. But then Vin also posted missing #June live tonight, but looking forward to the concert vid. Yeah, I like your post, Vin. That's my child. What's this here? Oh, the hashtags. Oh, so this is the #June Nation. So somebody named Glowstick Project saw the June Nation set list was like half Glass Bead songs. Why bother? Glass Bead is a G-Friend song. We can't interact with it, but it'll show us the new one. So then we also got the #Glass Beads. Cheeseman88, which I am not. I don't care what your opinion is. If your name is Cheeseman, I'm not trusting that opinion. But they say Glass Beads is so bad it doesn't even sound like a June album. #just saying. Well, okay, we also got #just saying. You know, this is entirely unrelated now, but Wasabi Sunshine says if your boss says we're a family, just start updating your CV is a little relatable, just saying. But also, it's relatable to the context of the game because that's basically the situation Vin is in, but that's our kid. Okay, June Forever then. Let's go back down to this one. So we have the post from June. Okay, I think that's it. Nothing new there. Zippy, why did I read Zippy Yokohama? Because the Y, it's Zip Yokohama, which must be like the acronym for the tour. Nothing crazy here. We have June Live. We have the post from Vin, and then all the other posts here. And then recipes, which is what Vin posted, I think. So Kettle and Moon says royal milk tea, the classic comfort, 1 tea, 2 milks. That's the ratio royal tea prefer. Royal milk tea, 1 tea, 2 milk. Okay, so we gotta remember that. Do I have a section for my likes? I'm gonna like it. Dessert Diva says this one is like a liquid snack bar. Also, I'm realizing I had a box here. Oh my God, I didn't realize that. Here, we'll go over here. I forgot to put the box there. This is one of those games that there's not a single good place on screen for me to put my box, and we're just gonna have to make do. Luckily, I was reading all the posts, but I feel so bad. Okay, Dessert Diva says this one is like a liquid snack bar, mixed chocolate plus honey plus milk, no fancy frother needed. Updog asks if anyone has any good hot cocoa recipes, and then we're to Vin's post. I think we got everything? Yeah, we got everything on the phone, except now we have brew pad. Ooh, so we have cafe latte, cappuccino, dark chocolate. Hojicha is 3 hojichas. That's what we had earlier. So next time we're gonna have to open the phone to get recipes, but we have a bunch of undiscovered ones here as well. One of those is probably royal milk tea, which I already forgot. What was it? I wish we had a section for likes. Yeah, okay. It was 1 tea, 2 milks. Okay, but that's it. We're back to Henry. Says hope nothing's happened to him about June. And we were about to say I'm sure it's all right, but then someone came in and it's June. Yay! June's here. He's so cool. He says good evening. We welcome him. And June says you must be Henry. Henry greets June and he says it was a pleasure to talk to you by email. Henry says definitely, and even nicer to meet you in person. June says for sure. My apologies for the delay. He's gonna say I was busy with my concert, but in reality he's like spiraling. It's okay, June. Head pats for June. I'll put the box back over here now that we're done with the phone. Henry says, don't worry about it. I do like the small detail that June is playing with a guitar pick. I don't know what it is. I love the like little idol. Maybe it's because I do the same thing. That's how Embor ended up on the floor. Henry asks, so how's everything? June says, you know, things are okay, I suppose. At least he's not totally deflecting. At least we have that going for us. Henry says, all right then, with an eyebrow raise, so he totally doesn't believe him. I gotta tell you, I'm very excited about this. And Rachel's even more excited than I am, so Rachel's either the little girl or his wife. Jin doesn't say anything, and neither does Henry now, it just got awkward. He says, you're sure everything's okay? June still doesn't say anything. And there it is, no more deflection! Jin says, no, truth be told, everything is not okay. I really did not want to burden you. That's what the coffee shop is for. I'm here to listen to your problems without a medical degree. Hi. Henry says, please, whatever's wrong, let me hear it. And June says, in short, I don't think I'm the right person to collaborate with Rachel. So who's Rachel? Oh my God, he's a manager. He's a manager for somebody. There it is. Rachel's the talent. Rachel's the VTuber. He's a VTuber manager. But Henry says, huh? June says, I am loath to disappoint you after you've come all this way. But in light of certain recent events, frankly, I'm a little surprised you kept our appointment. Probably because there was so much backlash to his new album. Henry says, wait, what are you talking about? But I don't think there's actually a ton of backlash to the album. It's probably doing really well, but online haters, not even haters, but just like Stan Twitter is like, this album sucks. And it's like, in reality, the album's like fine and dandy. Never listen to the opinion of Stan Twitter for too long. You can like get a glimpse of it, but don't go crazy about it. Because 9 times out of 10, they're probably wrong about something. Because also the fun thing about Stan Twitter is that they'll like an album, or no, they'll hate an album when it comes out, and then a couple months later, they're like, this album was fire. And it's like, wait, where were you? What? I can say all these things. I was on Stan Twitter for my formative years. I get it. Anyways, Henry says, wait, what are you talking about? And Jin says, my tour, of course. Henry says, what's the issue there? And Jin says, you haven't seen the media coverage. He's like shocked. Do we mean media coverage or do we mean random Twitter users complaining about it? Like there's a difference. Henry says, nope. And Jin says, candidly, I seem to have hit the end of my creative rope. Henry says, huh? How so? He's like so confused. He's like, what? Jin says, in short, the audience hates my last album. Is it the audience or is it Stan Twitter? Answer quickly. I'm also not using any particular artist as an example when I'm talking about like Stan Twitter in general, because I would say pretty removed from Stan Twitter nowadays. I still like know people and have friends on there though, so I see it like peripherally. And there's a lot of overlap of like Stan Twitter and like video game Twitter. So like Some of y'all be crazy. Anyways, I just think it's that the general public, especially not even the general public, but just like online spaces, like people who are chronically online have just become so, well, not even, it's actually, you know, it is general spaces. In general, society has become so much angrier and meaner as time goes on. We live in a society and that society is angry, but they're taking it out on each other rather than like the people they should be taking it out on. And I'm not going to elaborate on who you should be taking it out on, but like, it's not each other, guys. We gotta be working together. Toto agrees. He just woke up. He agrees with me. He's getting comfortable again. He turned around and he's going back to sleep, but he agrees with me. What was I talking about? Actually, what was I talking about? I forgot. Oh, but like taking the advice of people online don't do that, because everyone's just angry, and especially online where people can post things like anonymously behind screen name, and I'm VTuber, so who am I to talk? But like, I do show my face from time to time. But when people can do it anonymously, they're so much meaner. Like even like at my workplace the other day, somebody called to say one of our employees was they were in a company car, and one of our employees was driving recklessly. And then when the person on the phone with him asked for his information, he immediately was like, never mind, and hung up because he didn't want to like say who he was. Like, it's just so like, when people think they can say something anonymously, they're so much more mean about it. So I don't think the album is actually probably that bad. Like there's albums out there as well that I think are bad, but the general public does like, and vice versa. So like, it all comes down to taste at the end of the day. I can think of a specific couple of albums and songs right now that I would say that sucks, but the general public really like, and like fans of that artist really like. I'm not gonna tell y'all what it is, but I can think of a couple off the top of my head at least. Anyways, Hendry says, wow, hate is a strong word. Oof. Okay, you know what? Maybe that might be bad. I don't know though, because like, do we still trust pitchfork ratings? Really? Like, is this like a pitchfork, or like, come on. Jin says it has an average of 1.5 stars across all reviews. Hendry says, eep. Well, fine, they didn't love it, but audiences change their mind. That's what I'm saying. A couple months from now, people are gonna be like, this album is fire. What was Pitchfork talking about? Jin says, I read some of the reviews. And Hendry says, not a great idea. Yeah, no, don't read the comments. Jin says, they said my sound was stale and derivative, that my lyrics sounded like every other song I have ever written. I mean, I feel like saying like all the lyrics sound the same. That's just like, it's just like the same thing. Wow, artists talks about the same things in their music. Wow. But even I've gotten not about music obviously, or like lyrics, but even I've gotten comments like that over the years, and it's like, wow, creator does something that they enjoy doing, or like covers or talks about, or does something in the same style. Like, wow, like I don't know if that's like a total valid criticism. And Jin says the worst part is they're not wrong. So he wasn't confident with the album before releasing it, which is why it's okay to push back the release of things. Hendry says, you're pretty harsh on yourself. Jin says, am I? 10 years ago, I wrote a song that said, quote, your voice is fog above a sea of stars, unquote. And on my last album, there's this lyric, quote, your voice flies above the stars, which I feel like that's, well, I mean, I did like the first lyric better, but he says it's almost the same lyrics, except a little worse. I mean, we gotta move. Jin says, and I didn't even notice. Well, I mean, that's why artists work with like teams for these sort of things. There's nothing wrong with working with a team and like throwing ideas back and forth. It sounds like maybe he wanted to do an album all by himself for once and it didn't go well, and now he's like, I suck as a musical artist. And it's like, no you don't, dude. No you don't. You're fine. Quit that. If you want to get better at doing all the things on your own, just like take some lessons or something. Work for it. And you know, if you put the effort in and you still think it's trash, just work with other people. Hire someone. I don't know. So Hendry says, you're going through a bit of creative block. You've released what, a record per year for a decade? That's definitely a K-pop artist, if you ask me. K-pop is even worse than that though. They're like a record every like 3 to 6 months for like the same period of time for like a decade. Yeah, so oof. Hendry says, overwork can happen to everyone, which that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like he needs a break. Jin laughs and says, you're kind, but everyone does not get booed when they sing their latest single. So take a break, put out a statement saying, hey, I'm stepping back, taking a break for a little bit. I'm unwell. Like say like you need like you're burnt out, and people will be like, yeah, that makes sense. We don't even say, we just been like privy to this entire conversation. So we ask, Is that what happened tonight? But June doesn't say anything right away. Hendry says, that's rough, June. I'm sorry. He literally hit him with the that's rough, buddy. June says there's nothing for it. I should just finish the tour, take a break, then go back to writing. Well, if he's on tour right now as well, you see a lot of artists be like, hey, my mental health is down the toilet. I gotta end the tour early. We've been seeing that a lot recently. In fact, that's happened to me before. I've had tickets for concerts and the artist is like, hey, I'm not doing well. I gotta cancel the tour. Here's a refund. And it sucks as an audience member, but at the same time, it's like, well, I care about this artist. I care about this artist as a person and want them to, one, feel good about what they're creating, but also just feel good as a person in general. So like, yeah, do what you gotta do, cancel the tour. There'll be other tours. If this person is allowed to like take a step back, if they need help, get whatever help they need, there'll be more tours. That's kind of the goal. I forgot he was also on tour and he's doing, what is he doing? Like multiple days in Tokyo after just doing Yokohama? Like, come on. Hendry says, can I buy you a drink at least? And I clicked my mouse early, but I think that's really funny. Jin says, I would like that very much. And we say, what can I get you? He says, I would love something a little indulgent. Was that royal milk tea we got the recipe for? But we say, our fridge still hasn't been delivered, so I'm afraid we don't have any cream. It's that royal milk tea. I gotta open up the recipe for it. Jin says, that's quite all right. Something a little sweet would work just fine. Hold on, I wanted really quickly. It was in Tomodachi. I have it open on the phone. 1 tea, 2 milk. Got it. You want something a little sweet? And we're gonna add honey to it. If I can put my hand on it? I swear things keep moving around tonight. Oh, we lost it, Thoughty. Jin says, perhaps you have a spirit haunting your coffee machine. Hendry says, now that would be spooky. 1 tea, 2 milk. Okay, I have to keep telling myself it's 1 tea and 2 milk in my brain. Or we say, perhaps I'm getting heat stroke. Here's the honey. Jin says, that's perfect then. May I? Oh, he's giving us a drink he wants. He wants a hot chocolate with a dollop of honey and a splash of milk. Okay, so we can't do that royal milk tea. So he wants hot drink, cocoa powder, dollop of honey, and some soy milk. I think that's correct. Yeah, brew it. Let's go. Soy milk would not be... Ooh, choco bee soy? Is that what he wanted? I think so, yeah? It's so cutie with the little heart. Let's serve it. Here's your choco bee soy. Because I guess bee with the honey. Okay, yeah. Hendry says, ooh, choco bee soy makes it sound so fancy. And we ask Hendry if he would like to try it next time. Is this right? Oh, yes. Awesome. Jin says, you should. This truly is a lovely drink. You underestimate what like a nice warm drink can do for the mind, quite frankly. I know I've told this story before, but back when I figure skated, I had one of my like very last test sessions I ever did, because in figure skating you have to test up the levels. I was taking 2 major tests in the same day, and I took the first one, did extremely well, and the judges failed me. The judges failed me on it. I think it was for like, technically it was for like 1 spin. They failed me on the entire test because it was a program. I had to do a program for it. And so but I had like a very wide gap in between that one and the next one I had to do, which the next one was just like elements and stuff. So it wasn't as serious. So my coach took me for hot chocolate, and then I spilled hot chocolate on my dress and I had to wear another dress. But the hot chocolate did help. Did I pass the other test after that? No, they failed me on that one as well. So I stopped figure skating shortly after that. Very biased sport. Anyways, I feel like that's not too different from the music industry. But we tell Jun, I'm glad you like it. Hot chocolate is good for the soul. Now I want hot chocolate, and I do have like 1 thing of hot chocolate and some creamer in my fridge. I might make a nice hot chocolate, and I have I could make choco bee soy, but it wouldn't be soy, it'd be oat, choco bee oat. I might make that tonight. I'm not even gonna lie, that sounds really good because I have all the things I would need. I have some hot chocolate, I have creamer that I could use in place of milk, and I have some honey, so I might actually make that tonight. But Jun sighs and says, I suppose it's 1 foot after the other, isn't it? I have another concert scheduled in 3 days. I cannot very well wiggle out of that. You could. Hendry says, I'm sure it will be all fine. Things will blow ever. What is he trying to say? Eep. Oh, wait. His tea is floating. What? Jin says, well, it looks like this isn't the work of a coffee spirit or heat stroke. Ghost is playing tricks on you. So that's why we can't find anything. We got a ghost in the shop. Hendry says, a what now? Jin says, a ghost, I believe. Hendry says, how can you say that so calmly? It's probably because I think Jun is also some sort of ghost or spirit because he has like the color. Jin says, what is there to get riled up about? Ghosts are just ghosts. Hendry says, huh? What are you talking about, Hendry? You're a cat man? Just saying. Ghosts are powerful and vengeful and scary, and Hendry screams. He says, please don't hurt me, Mr. Ghost. You don't know if it's a man ghost. Is somebody entering the shop? So somebody with blue text, we don't know who they are, screams, Ayame, stop this right this instant. They must be the ghosts. So who is this? Our new friend says, this girl is impossible. My apologies. Ayame has no manners. Hendry says, Ayame, question mark. And our new friend says, stop hiding, girl. She was in one of the pictures at the start of the game. She was in some of the like random art they showed off. So she is definitely a ghost. We got a full house at the bar. What do you know? Jin says, evening. And Hendry says, who are you talking to? She's right there. Jin says, my apologies, Hendry. There appears to be a young ghostly woman seated next to me. So I'm assuming this is Ayame. She laughs and says, the blind guy can see me, but the Gramps can't? Because he has his hair over his eyes. Now that's funny. And I don't know who this is still. This is not a ghost, but they say, Ayame, don't be rude. And Jin says, no, she's quite right. I wouldn't say that I see her so much as I sense her essence. Okay. Hendry says, well, all I sense is a chill down my back. Do you see the ghost person too? I do see them. I do see Ayame. She's very pretty. I do indeed. Hendry says, I'm feeling left out now. Ayame laughs and says, the Gramps was scared of me a minute ago. He'd pee his pants if he could actually see me. And our new friend says, once again tells Ayame to quit it. And she sticks her tongue out. I love how our friend here was able to like roll their eyes. That's so fun. Hendry says, what did she say? And our friend down at the end says, you don't want to know. I'd count myself lucky if I couldn't hear her actually. Want to know their relationship? Oh, that's her grandma. Ayame says, you're the one who said you wanted to come with me, grandma. Oh, that's not her grandma. Our friend says, call me grandma one more time and all. Ayame says, you'll what? Gotta do your job, grandma? What will your boss say if you don't help me pass? What is their story? Our new friend says, I deserve this, I guess. And Hendry says, sorry to interrupt, ma'am. Fuku. This is Fuku, Ayame, Jun, and Hendry. Okay. Oh, we have new posts to look at. Hendry says, Fuku, how come you've got Fuku says, how come I've got to deal with a semi-invisible brat? Semi-invisible brat is clever, I gotta say. Fuku says, it's my job. Also, Ayame is pissed. Kinda, Fuku says. I work the front desk at a death door. So that is a proper noun, so first of all. Hendry says, a what? It's like so normal in our little like modern magical Tokyo, and Hendry just comes to visit from Seattle and is like, I'm sorry, what? What do you have? A door to the underworld? Okay. Fuku says, a death door. It's a door to the afterlife for dead people. Hendry says, oh. And Fuku says, yeah, normally I just wave them through and that's that. But when this one tried to cross the threshold, she got pulled back into the world of the living. Ayame makes a noise, spoong, like a catapult. Fuku says that only happens if the deceased has unresolved business, which, yeah, it's common ghost lore. A ghost can't cross over to the other side until they finish whatever is bothering them. Also, if you mess up their grave, sometimes like you gotta send them off the right way or they get stuck here. There's a lot of ghost lore. Water break. Okay. Fuku says normally they'd send a colleague from unresolved business to deal with that. Hendry says, can't say they got too creative with the names, which I have to agree with Hendry on that one. Fuku laughs and says, exactly. I thought if those boring farts can do the job, so can I. And I still know I can. But I'm starting to think I'm gonna die trying, which would be pretty ironic. Ayame says, come on, but is cut off by Hendry saying, and what unresolved business is that? Ayame says, hey, he interrupted me. Rude. Oh, Fuku says, he can't hear you, girl. And Ayame says, stop calling me girl. Fuku says, stop calling me grandma. To which Ayame says, keep dreaming, grandma. And Fuku sighs. Anyway, she says, the issue with the unresolved business is Miss Brat here doesn't remember a thing. Oh dear. Not how she died, not where she's from, not even her name. So she was isekai'd as a ghost. That kind of bites a little bit. Ayame says, I picked the best name, admit it. So Ayame means iris flower, is what Fuku reiterates. Right, she says, you're about as delicate as a trunk. I don't know what that means, actually. All she knows is that Tokyo's got something to do with it. Although I'm starting to think she only said that because she wants to go to all the bars. Ayame says, haven't heard you complain about that. And Fuku says, that's not the point. Hendry says, you know, I thought brushing up on Japanese would help me chat to people. I didn't expect I'd need to work my ghost site as well. So hypothetically, everyone's speaking Japanese, but I am reading it in English, and that's okay. Fuku says, don't beat yourself up. This guy here, I expected him to see her. The whole magic thing, you know? Hendry says, magic thing? What's the magic thing? Okay, Jin says it's nothing, just a matter of spirit attunement, which I guess if he doesn't have any sight because his hair, I don't know if he's like officially like considered a blind character or not, but if he can't see, that, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised then if his spirit attunement is better than his vision that he doesn't have. So also it's been over an hour at this point, but I don't know when to put in a pause because I thought we could do like our first day together, but that day is ending up being really long. But Fuku says, you, I'd have been shocked. And you, no clue why you can see her and everyone's just looking at me. So we say, well, this is my cafe and she's my patron. It would be quite a lapse on my part not to be able to see her, which we have not actually spoken in a hot minute. And on that note, ladies, can I offer you something to drink? Ayame says, see, that's good manners. I feel like part of why she's still here is something that has to do with manners or like getting cut off by somebody. I mean, you know, maybe she was hit by the isekai truck and she was cut off by the isekai truck and that's why she's here. And giving her a nice little matcha and having good manners will get her to disappear into the night. Ayame says, that's how you should treat me. And Fuku says, can it? No joke though, I'd love a drink. So we ask, what would you like? And Fuku wants a straight black coffee. All right, do we want to take a look at our phone right now? Not right now, we'll do the drink first. So we want hot drink, coffee. Actually, let's open up brew pad. So we got chronically soy and I'm not sure what to do for a straight black coffee. I guess it would be espresso, yeah? Blacker than a moonless night, hotter and more bitter than hell itself. So that'd be 3 coffees. Okay, coffee. Let's give it a try. Brew our black coffee. I think it's right. Serve it. Yeah, here comes a black coffee. Perfect. Fuku says, nice and bitter as I like them. This is quality brewing right there. I should definitely come back. And we say, you'll always be welcome. So Ayame, how about you? We ask, what would you like? And she doesn't like being called Ayame-san, which is fine. She says, that makes me sound ancient. She prefers Ayame-chan. So what do you want to drink? Fuku says, sorry, going to order? And Ayame says, of course I am. I want something sweet and cute with that latte art decoration thingy. She's so cutie. Something sweet and cute with heaps of milk and a pretty stencil on top. I feel like that would be, so we still can't do cold drinks, unfortunately. Oh yeah, because we don't have the fridge. Okay, so sweet and cute. I feel like chronically soy is sweet and cute, but green tea latte is probably what she wants. So it's a green tea and 2 soy milks. Sweet and cute with heaps of milk. There's 2 soy milk and a green tea latte. That's not how I make my green tea lattes, but I digress. I would be like green tea, soy milk, not green tea, soy milk, if that makes sense. So yeah, we'll do a green tea latte. So we have green tea, soy milk, and soy milk. I can close the phone now. So it's not heaps of milk and a pretty stencil. Well, I mean, that's what it is. Let's just try that. Let's try the green tea latte. It's not as sweet as she would like, but we can do latte art. Oh my God. Wait, I need a stencil for this. Okay, what's a cute, the cat could work. Cat stencil, all right. I'm not sure how the latte art works though. So if we pour milk, reset, how does it work? I can't figure out how it works because I have a stencil here. Oh, that's how it works. I thought it was gonna be milk. What if we had done? I mean, it was the lot. Let's try it. I can't be super picky or else we're gonna be here all day. So we have our drink and she does not like it. She says, are you joking? This doesn't smell like I asked. And we say, oh no, I'm so very sorry. I feel like a green tea latte is very sweet though. Fuku says, come on, you can get another one later. No need to look so sad. I'll do another one, Ayame. I'll drink the green tea. Also, now I'm like, I need to get it perfect. But Ayame says, anyway, pretty sure I look less miserable than the blue guy. I'm curious what she wanted, because I feel like green tea lattes are really sweet. Ayame says, what happened to you? Your bluefish died or something? She's right back on her thing. Jin says, nothing quite so tragic, just some professional worries. Ayame says, ugh, you people and your jobs. She's like your most unemployed friend on a random Tuesday. Fuku says, that's what being a grown-up is, Ayame. We have jobs. Ayame says, you speak like I'm 10 years old. I probably had a great job when I was alive. Fuku says, stranger things have happened. Hendria asks about Fuku's job, but we're gonna go to Tomodachi. So we have new friends, I think. One new friend, it's Fuku. Oh my god, wait, it's Fuku up dog? I think Fuku is up dog. Hot cocoa recipes. I'm bored. Remove a letter, spoil a movie title. Hat, hashtag thriller. Add a letter, spoil a movie title, Star Wars. So it's Star Wars. Change a letter, spoil. How? Okay, so Fuku is your... If Ayame is your most unemployed friend, Fuku is your employed friend with the heart and soul of an unemployed person. It's hashtag thriller. From Georgie Williams, you'd think my job would be the dangerous part of my life, but have you tried refusing a kid the new console she wants? Ah, fair enough. Okay. Hendry asks if Fuku likes her job. And she says, would I be here if I liked my job? I actually am not so sure about that. Fuku says, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be rude to you. This whole situation is driving me mad. My job isn't great, sitting at that desk all day. That's not what I signed up for. Way back when, I used to go around, meet people, bestow blessings. Ayame laughs, and she says, you bestowed blessings with that sour face? Fuku says, I didn't always have a sour face. Try to keep up. Anyway, that line of work dried up. Turns out blessings require a personal touch. And there wasn't time for anything like that in the brave new era of full-on productivity. So they did a restructuring. And I got stuck in that sulfuric pit staring the newly deceased in the face. That sucks. Yeah, that sucks. Jin says that sounds difficult. No, that sucks. Fuku says, I thought you might have some experience with restructurings as well. What is that supposed to mean? Did like his company get new management or something? Is this a Hybe situation? Jin says, I wouldn't quite call it that, but I am not on my first career indeed. I would say though that I like this one better. What did Jin do in the past? Or he says, I used to like it better. Ayame says, oh boo-hoo. I liked Ayame at first. I don't know if I like her anymore. She says, at least you're not, you know, dead. And Jin says, well, there is that. It's a little bit harsh, don't we think? On that note, Jin says, I do think I should take a rest. Hendry says, you've had quite the night. And I'm starting to get sleepy too, so Hendry and Jun are about to leave. Guess the jet lag's wearing off. Hendry says, I'll be traveling around Japan for another 10 days. I get things are a bit rough right now, but if you change your mind about the collab, let me know. And anyway, we should grab another drink before I go. I'm assuming these two will come back and we'll get like the resolution to whatever they got going on. Jin says, I am not optimistic about the collaboration, but I'd be up for another drink on your way back. And Hendry says, sounds like a plan. I feel like by the end of it, they'll be up for the collaboration. Jin will probably come in more times. We'll fix whatever's up with him. And then Hendry will come back and be like, so that collaboration. And they'll be like, I see you. Collaboration. Let's go. Jin says, by the way, I'm not sure that you still want it, but this is the old LP I promised you. So is this how we get more music? Yay, more music. We say, of course we want it. I'm excited to add it to our exclusive listens. Jin says, all right. Have a great rest of your evening, all. And Hendry also says, see you around, everyone. So we say, see you soon to both of them. Fuku says, toodaloo. And Ayame says, bye-bye. So now it's just us. And can I make another drink for Ayame, please? We say, so, pardon my asking, Ayame. Can I make you another drink, please, on the house? Do you have anything to go by to jog your memories, we ask. Ayame says, who cares? And Fuku says, you care. Obviously, you're still here. Ayame argues with her and says, no, you care. You want to sort this out to get your precious promotion or whatever. Doesn't make a difference to me. Fuku said nothing about a promotion, by the way. I accidentally hit my phone. Fuku says, do you really want to mope around as a ghost forever? Ayame says, maybe I do. I can play pranks, I can chat to people, I can smell drinks. Speaking of drinks, can I make you another one? If I didn't have a grandma on my back all the time, I'd be living my best death. Fuku says, yeah? How's the smelling the drinks going? Where is this one going, by the way? Ayame says, what do you mean? Fuku says, how much do you smell them today compared to, say, yesterday? Oh, she's gonna, like, lose her senses after a while. Oh, so is that why she didn't like the drink? Did I actually get it right? But she didn't like it because she can't really smell them or anything, or, like, her sense of smell is going? She says, I still smell them. And Fuku says, but less. Ayame says, I don't know, maybe I'm coming down with a cold. Leave me alone. I don't think ghosts can get colds, Ayame. Fuku says, you're fading. Whatever energy you've got left, if you don't expend it figuring out what the heck you did and who the heck you are, it's going to vanish. No one will be able to see you. You won't smell any drinks. You're just gonna be alone on Earth forever. We say that is... We're like, hey guys, we're still here. Is it a harsh way of putting it, perhaps? I think Ayame might need the tough love, though. Fuku says she needs to understand. You need to understand. So now we have the bit between them where Ayame now tells Fuku to leave her alone. Fuku doesn't say anything in return, except for fine. I'll wait for you outside while you finish here. thanks for the drink. And we thank Fuku for her custom, whatever that means. We got a post. Is it up dog? Neckle Papa. Oh, that's Neckle Papa is Hendry's username. Oh, he says an evening coffee. Oh, hold on. I'll move the box. An evening coffee stop turned into good conversation with the locals, and suddenly it was late at night. Alarms still set. Yamanashi at dawn, give or take. Oh, I like that. That's cutie. Neckle Papa. That's cute. Okay, we're back over here. Ayame says, thought you two didn't know each other, which we didn't. Yeah, we did not. We just got to know each other having conversation, which is kind of how that works. But I suspect Fuku has some knowledge of people and souls, we say. Ayame doesn't say anything, except she says maybe she does. Or maybe she looked you up in online reviews. Fat lot of good it's doing me either way. Somebody else is coming in? Is it Vin? Oh, Vin's back. How was your concert, Vin? I was getting resituated in my chair and it like fell a little bit. But Vin says, hey. We ask Vin, did you have a nice time? And Vin says, I did. I'm feeling ready to take on the world again. Yeah, so we say you missed Jin. And Vin says, yep, I heard his voice from the back. I also heard other thing. Sounds like it was an intense evening. And we say, it's not over yet. Can Vin see Ayame? Yeah, we ask, I'm guessing you cannot see Ayame. Vin says, I'm not sure. Wow, you're here, aren't you? Ayame just says, yeah. Vin says, this is weird, which it is a little weird. It's like I'm looking at something at the edge of my vision. And Ayame says, that's my luck. The cutest looking one can barely make me out. Oh, Ayame likes Vin. Vin is blushing. Oh no, that's toxic Yuri right there. I don't know if it's toxic Yuri. Doomed Yuri? Yeah, it's doomed Yuri. There it is. But Ayame says, you can hear me. Vin says, if I really focus. Ayame says, I don't get how this works at all. I don't get who can see me and who can't. I'm trying so hard to appear right now, and I'm barely managing it. How am I supposed to learn about my past and whatnot if I don't even know the rules? Toto's up again. I woke up my dog. He's doing puppy stretches. He's so cute. Hi, Toto. Okay, let's try to finish day one. Vin apologizes, and Ayame says, keep your pity to yourself, thanks. If you hear noises, it's Toto. It's Toto. Vin says, I hope you are going to be looking for your past, though. I get what it's like to have your life break apart. I want to know more about the Vin lore. It's hard when things happen to us and we can do nothing about them. So it's kind of coming full circle to talk about Vin's bit again. But it sounds like maybe you can do something about this. And I hope you find that courage, even if it's not easy to find. Ayame says, like you know anything about me, and then calls Vin pretty face. Vin is shocked. Ayame says, you're sitting here super duper alive, giving me lessons. Why don't you try dying first? That's a bit harsh. Just saying. Vin, oh, poor Vin. Vin says, oh. And we tell Ayame that was unkind. Ayame just gives an ugh. She says, that's not what I meant, okay? Vin doesn't know what to say. And Ayame says, I made a mess of things again. It's probably related to why she still has unfinished business, though. Probably because she needs to apologize to somebody from her past. She says, whatever, I should just go. And we said that's not, but Ayame's gone now. And the lights did flicker on and off as she left. Vin says, is she actually completely gone? And we say, I'm afraid so. Vin says, drat. We apologize to Vin and say that mustn't have been pleasant to hear. Oh. Vin says, that's all right. She doesn't know. So the how about you go and try dying line must be related to whatever Vin's like chronic illness is. And she's right. Vin says, I'm still here, aren't I? I really shouldn't complain. We say you're allowed to complain when people are being rude to you, which yes, you are allowed to complain. The customer is not always right. Or we say when you're in pain, for that matter. People won't know what's up with you if you don't tell them. Vin says, I guess that's fair, but I get Vin's point of view. Sometimes people don't want to hear it. Sometimes people don't want to hear it. People are mean. Anyway, Vin says, the concert was really fun. We laugh and say, I thought you might like it. I saw the picture on your Tomodachi. It looked like a blast. Saying Tomodachi is so difficult as well. Like, why didn't you just say Tomodachi life? I know it's a play on the word Tomodachi, but it's like so hard to say to add the chills at the end. My mouth just does not want to make the sound. But Vin says it was, with little stars in their eyes. Do you think it would be okay if I went back to bed though? And we say, of course it would. No one's even in here except for you and me. Vin says, all right then. See you tomorrow. We say goodnight to Vin and they're off. So that must be day one. Yes, no, maybe so. We say so many coin tosses to end on the wrong side of chain. I hope at least some of them will be able to make it back. Yay, that was day one. Yay. So this is Milky Way, sweet and cool like outer space. This is a drink. So that was day one. Yes. We'll finish it out and then we'll be done for today. All right, so we move on to Friday, July 31st. How do I pause the game? So the newspaper says fading traditions. What does faith mean in the modern age? Interesting. I guess we have to start the day first, and then we can save game right at the start of day 2 and go back to the main menu. Yay! It's not too hard to skip through if we have to, though. So if I have to like do click to get through to day 2, we'll do that. And then maybe I can get Ayame's drink right. There also is an endless mode though, which I think just has you making drinks, which sounds so fun. That sounds so fun. But that is it for our first day in Coffee Talk Tokyo. I don't know if every video is going to be one day. Probably, because it's very hard. Coffee Talk is one of those games where it's very hard to pause during a day. It's like A Date with Death or like any other Coffee Talk game for that matter. It's just one of those visual novels where it's very hard to pause in the middle of a day. So you kind of just have to like brute force through a whole day and then pause. But that is it for this video. Thank you once again to Toge Productions and Keyvailer for providing me with my copy of Coffee Talk Tokyo. If you like this video, make sure to give me a like down below, as well as subscribe for more and hit the little notification bell to be notified when I upload new ones. As always, I hope everyone is having a super lovely day. Wherever you are in the world, go make yourself a hot chocolate for the soul, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys!